Okay, we will start now. Cool. First, let's see if we have anything to share. Experiences. How was it for you? Were you able to practice on your own? What were the results? Anything that you want to share or anything that you want to ask? Let's do it now. This is the right moment to do that. Okay.
Okay. When I did the process, I got some questions and I got some more questions. The first one is when you do the process and then you got the cognition, you finish or realization, you finish the process and you start with the next one. But then I was reading the script and it says that it's important to do question number 4 and question number 5. But if you already got the realization, the conclusion, you skip those parts because you
No,
already.
no. Basically, it is like you can have really nice improvements with verbalization, like just basically some kind of integration that you will have maybe during the process or almost always during the process. It can get much deeper when you verbalize it. So basically, this is why you are asking yourself, okay, if I am to write down the conclusion, what could I conclude about my behavior or about achievement of the goal or about anything else that you have conclusions about? And sometimes, not only that, but sometimes you will need to incorporate these realizations into new definition of the goal. So basically, if, for example, your conflict was something that maybe this goal will uh, will hinder my relationship in my family and things like that, then if you have a realization that you need to do all these things, but be very very careful how are you going to incorporate that with your family and things like that, and you sometimes you will have to add these cognitions that you have into your new formulation of the goal, and then process will be much easier after that.
Okay, so basically you always do that even when
Yes.
you have during you break the process that third finger because you got a realization. Just you meditate a little bit more about those two questions.
Not meditate, but basically just ask yourself, okay, you can say, maybe you are right, maybe you can say meditate, but don't meditate. Just ask yourself, okay, what is the cognition for me? How come that this problem is not problem for this goal anymore, for example? And after that, okay, is there something from this realization that I had that might modify my goal a little bit or make it a little bit more precise about what I want and things like that.
Okay, got it. And in the script, it says to after every process, ask yourself how you perceive your goal. What could you learn from the process you did? The two questions, 4 and 5, is about this one, or it's a different question?
Yes. This is it. This is just clarification of what I mean. This is exactly the same thing that I just said.
Oh, okay, got it. So the next one is when um, when you are doing the process and then you realize that you probably it's I don't know if it's like mental confusion, but I was doing one barrier and then I noticed that it changed, and immediately I did in the next finger another one. But then that's because I wasn't conscious. Probably that's because I didn't write it down. I also, for example, got a new content and I put it in the third finger because I was in the second finger with one, but then somehow something changed and I changed it during the process. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Okay, sometimes your problem will change, or basically barrier that you are working on will
Yes.
change. But actually, always check if the one that you started with is resolved or not. If it is not resolved, continue with the same process. Maybe write down cognition that you are having about new barrier that you will do in the next process if it is necessary. Sometimes finishing the first process will make other barrier resolve too. But actually, if you realize that new barrier that you find is better definition of the first barrier, then you can continue with the process. But always you need to check if the first one that you started with is resolved or not.
Okay, got it. And then in the right side, when you're saying, even though I have this barrier, I really want to have this goal, you can just say, I really want to have this goal, or it's important that you explicit the goal. For example, I want to make my $30,000 per month, for example, or
yes,
you can abbreviate in this goal.
This is really good question, and answer is you should be aware of the goal. You shouldn't just say, although such and such barrier exists, I still want my goal. This could be okay, but actually it is better to know what is your goal. You don't have to say every specific characteristic of your goal in that. You can use really shortened path because you are doing process. So it could be, I want to earn $35,000, and you don't have to do all these additional characteristics and say and be aware of them and things like that. But actually, you should be aware what is the goal. You shouldn't say to yourself just, but I still want my goal, like some undefined goal. You should define exactly what it is.
Okay, got it. Final one. Yesterday during the process, I realized that I have a decision of defeat in terms of after some things that happened in the past, I conclude that for me it's impossible to make a certain quantity of money per month. That's because my previous experience, and that's I think that's like a conclusion that I did from my previous experiences. You treated the same thing using just the general formula, or here with decision of defeats is when you have to use the special situations that you mentioned in the video course and the practical course, or that's fine that we treat it with the general formula that we're learning in this course, the special barrier cases.
Yes, this is technical point about 10 fingers process. Sometimes if you are having problems with, if you realize that process didn't completed what it needed to complete, or if your barrier isn't resolved with the process, then sometimes, like I said, first check if your definition of barrier should be more specific, and then you can check some of these special cases barriers. But usually this is not a big problem. Sometimes they could resolve some confusion that you might have in some really special cases when your barrier is defined in special way, then normal formulation in the process can create some confusion. This is what these special cases are about. But this is usually not usually more important part is that your barrier at the beginning wasn't specified enough.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else? Questions, experiences, something to share, whatever.
I can go next.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience, and a question says Daniel, but you answered some of those. For example, when I wrote down my goal, and I put a lot of details inside, like how do I want to feel? What are the persons that I'm gonna build my business or something? And while doing the 10 fingers method, it just came up that like that new thing that I want to do with somebody else, with a feeling, I don't want to call it a job, rather like a pleasure to enjoy it. Okay. So I didn't know, should I rephrase my goal to be something different, to exclude job from the goal, or just continue with the next barrier. But you helped me with the guidance you gave me. But there is also one thing that Daniel mentioned that I wanted to ask you. For example, while doing the second round of 10 figures, I realized that just in my head, some new belief appeared, negative belief. So
Okay.
what do I do with that negative belief? Should that be my next barrier that I should work on with 10 fingers?
Easiest way to deal with that is the one that you said. Do it as the next one. But in some of situations, or maybe in a lot of situations, it is better formulation of previous barrier. Sometimes basically one level of the conflict disappears as you are going through 10 fingers, and this is why you are able to see deeper level. Or sometimes basically absolutely previous barrier stopped being barrier. It was integrated in some way, and you are aware of the next one. Again, best way would be to check these questions 4 and 5, but sometimes even I don't do that. Sometimes you can go to the next barrier. You will not have big problems with either of these.
Okay, and one more question. If you finish the first 10 fingers and we feel the charge is still there, should you repeat the process for the same barrier and keep repeating it until we don't feel any charge anymore?
Usually, like I can say, yes, repeat it, and that but is pay attention to not specific enough formulation of the first round. Usually this is about that. So for example, like if I say something like my barrier is like it's possible to fail, maybe I will
You can take my example.
Yeah,
I will not try.
I will
not try enough. I will not try enough.
I will not try hard enough. But
yes.
For example, in that specific case, that is relatively specific. Maybe you can ask yourself if this is repeating again and again. Then I would say, okay, you will not try hard enough in which situation? Yeah, like because try hard enough is not specific enough, or maybe isn't specific enough. Maybe sometimes in the process you will know exactly what you mean, and then the process will go okay. Then you will be able to notice what is it. Because on the right hand you are looking barrier. I will not try hard enough, and but I still want my goal. And if you pay attention, your mind needs to do something with these two things and resolve that somehow. And like if the first one is not really specific enough, or based on specificity of the barrier, your mind will have different level of usefulness in cognitions that you will have about that. You will not be able to really realize what is problematic there if you are not you didn't define your barrier as you should have, or if it is not absolutely clear to you what is really barrier, what's really problem.
Yeah. So if there is a fog, like the process will guide me through to the more clarity or more specification, whether it's a barrier or the goal itself.
Yes, like if I say I won't be able to deal with people, like this is one. But if I say I will not be able to protect my interests against authority type figures, this is different. Or I won't be able to tell to my father such and such. This is totally different thing. Like cognitions that you will have as I feel that I won't be able to deal with my father, and I still want my goal. It's totally like you can have totally specific cognitions about that situation. When I'm saying I won't be able to deal with people, this is different thing, and cognitions that you will have will be different because of that. And because of that, sometimes you might have the same barrier, or what may seem like the same barrier next time, but actually this usually means that you didn't specify enough barrier like it is, and because of that you were not able to get cognition that was there hidden.
Great, thank you for the guidance.
Cool. There is one thing that I wanted to say about your change in formulation. I don't want to call it job, but I want to call it pleasure or something like that. That could be really, really useful. This is if that can be made to work for you, then it could be really, really useful, because frame will make you behave totally differently in that situation. This is a really good idea. This is what I want to say to you and to everybody else. This is a really good idea.
Yeah, that was a really, really impactful, because it had 2 or 3 revelations, really impactful revelations. So thank you.
Yeah, cool, great. Okay, anybody else? Anything to share? Anything to ask, or whatever?
Somebody asked in chat, what guidance did you give me? Philip, advice for me to rephrase the goal and start over again.
Cool. Yep, great. That was a question from the chat. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Now let's do one more set on your goals to see what will happen about all this. One more set.
One question more that I already have. Doing this process in an associated way is much better than doing it in an disassociated way. I mean,
No.
Okay, it's the same.
Yes, maybe sometimes it works even better when you're disassociated. But you cannot really be completely disassociated, but actually you don't have to, like in some other processes, you might receive some instructions that says, okay, the better you feel it, emotionally experience it, the better result of the process will be.
Right.
This is not that kind of process. You will have cognitions just if it is absolutely rational, you know this.
Okay, just to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, cross legs or doing after food, no problem at all with those kind of.
Yeah, like that could be like doing it after food, or being drowsy, or doing it while you are drunk. You will. This is not good idea anyway. Like you cannot do good process with that, because but actually there are no, like, you need to be able to do basic mental processes as you should, but it doesn't matter. Like you can do problematic things with your body that you can put yourself in a state that you will not be able to do the process.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Let's do. Okay, do we all know what I'm asking you to? My instruction would be something like, okay, let's do 3 rounds, 3 10 fingers processes on your goal. Is there anybody who needs a little bit more explanation about the 10 fingers process?
Can we review it a little bit?
No, you know exactly what you're doing, Daniel. You are doing it okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do 15 minutes of 10 fingers. Okay. Anything to share? Any questions? How are we doing? Daniel.
Okay, I was doing my process. My goal is to make 1,500 pesos per dollars per month, and then I got many limited beliefs, like it's possible to fail because I don't have enough people skills to sell my products. Then I'm scared to trick them and they get angry at me. Then some people could be real evil and cruel, and if my products are not perfect, they can hurt me. And then I have to have a perfect product and guarantee.
Okay. What is the question, or what was experience?
Oh, okay.
You don't have to tell us everything that you did. Okay.
Okay. Then when you got those beliefs, do you need to start the process with all of them, or you can integrate just the beliefs into the current phrase and just make a big statement that I'm it's possible.
No. These were like the ones that you said were totally different experiences and beliefs, and you should work with each of them. So it is like it's possible to fail because people might be really aggressive towards me. If they are not happy, okay, I do the process with that. Second one, third one, like you should use with different experiences, not all beliefs, not put them all together or something like that.
Okay. And what do you do when you get a positive belief? Like, for example, some people can benefit from my services and they can feel grateful. I think that's a possible, that's a positive belief, like a good realization. What do you do with that? Just notice and let it go?
But no, but actually, something like that would not appear as a barrier to you. If you are having that as cognition at the end of the process and you feel good about it, great. You don't have to do anything about it. But like it is, if you pay attention, question is it possible to fail? Yes. How can you fail? Then something you will not have answer to that question. I can fail because people can have great results with my products. This is, you will not have positive belief as barrier.
Okay, got it.
You might have had positive feeling at the end of the process, and this is totally cool. This is okay.
Okay. Final questions.
Yep.
It's the same to close your eyes, or do you need to have your eyes open during the process? You should do it in your native language or in a second language. That's fine.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
These are all great questions. Like you don't have to open your eyes or close your eyes. For most people, it is easier to do things like this with closed eyes, but you don't have to do that. This is first. Second one is you should probably work in your native language. If it is not easier for you just to continue, if process is in English and it is easier for you, then do it as it is easier to you. You do it the way that is easy for you. But actually, for most people, I would expect their native language to be most natural thing to do.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Experiences, questions? How are we going? Like, are we getting closer and closer to that feeling that it's not possible to fail, or what is happening? Can the 10 fingers method, like Amina has a question, can the 10 fingers process, 10 finger method, just one moment, like I need to work with traumas? Yes, it could, you should probably work with traumas, but probably you should do it systematically with different elements of the trauma and not stay with just one 10 fingers process. You probably you should go through the trauma and find different components of that trauma and then deal with each of them in 10 fingers process. There are some ways to systematically use 10 fingers process for creation or for elimination of chronic problems, but these are much more complicated processes to share them here, but it can be done. Marianne was had a question. Please, Marianne, if you still have it,
yes.
Share with us.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to be clear in my explanations.
Okay.
Well, I have the same problem than Jelena, as she explained during the process. Well, she had new barriers adding in the list and no barrier disappearing. And,
for example.
Well, I had I don't know, laziness, hard to do sport when it is warm, things like this. And after a first term, after a first session, I had new things coming up. I do not take time and discipline for sport or something like this. And I don't know if I must just add in the list, or I don't know if I can really identify one new barrier is going to replace another one. For example, I do not take time and discipline for sport. Does it replace laziness? I'm not sure.
Generally, I think that it is. I don't think why you should create a list. You should basically you should expect that your barriers disappear as you work with them. If they don't, you should probably go and try to specify them a little bit more. So in that, so basically you don't have, you shouldn't have questions about what to do with my list of barriers. Okay, they should disappear when you're working with them.
But it is weird because when I checked at the end, even if adding new barriers, when I checked the probability of success of 100%, I came from 10% to 30%.
Okay. Yep.
So it was strange. So I don't know how really to
I would say that maybe it is maybe you shouldn't check all the time what is happening with percentages. You should continue with the process, and if you are having some barriers which are persistent and they are not disappearing, then you should probably modify a little bit with these. For example, like things that you said are really show that it is happening pretty much exactly as it should. Like you are saying first, like I'm lazy, and then next one is I cannot discipline myself to work, or I can when it is too hot or something like that. These are, it seemed to me, these are different, or at least more and more specific barriers connected to that one. It sounds like good, like it doesn't seem like some big problem with technical problem that you have with that. Like I wouldn't say and just the fact that you said okay, it was 10%, now it's 30%. It really changes that shows that there are changes in that.
Yes, this is a good point. But so if I understand well, if I find the correct barrier, I mean the how to express it, the sentence or the precise. Once it's the good one, and I work on it, it should disappear.
For example, what Daniel said about formulations, and I think that you have that in that material, like 10 fingers process about confidence and things like that, something like that. I think that you bought it last time when we have a workshop or something like that. Yes, in that there are 3 special cases. One of these cases is special formulations for your barrier. And for example, like with that formulation, like I am lazy. Like what may be problematic with that formulation is, for example, left hand, it's possible to fail because I am lazy in Exhale. Right hand, although I am lazy, I still want my goal in Exhale. It sounds like you will continue to be lazy in that. And this is why sometimes it can make confusion. Sometimes it could basically a little bit hinder cognitions that you have. And because of that, with formulations, with barriers which are my negative personal characteristics, usually we modify it and say something like, although in the past I was lazy, do I still want my goal? Because this is really, when I say I'm lazy, actually it means I have believed that I'm lazy, or that I have previous experiences that show that I am lazy, but they are always talking about my previous experiences, not that. And because of that, when you say, okay, although my past experiences show that I behaved lazy in regard to exercising, do I still want my goal or not? Then it could be quite obvious to you that you really the fact that I was lazy in the past doesn't really hinder or doesn't really mean anything about if I want it or not, or basically doesn't mean that I will behave like lazy in the future. So it's like the one that you formulate that you had is a little bit like that, and it could be a little bit confusing when you are doing it. If you pay attention, like when you say, although I am lazy, I still want my goal, it sounds like almost you are allowing yourself to continue that behavior. But actually, this is not what Barrier said. Barrier said, okay, in the past, I was behaving like that, such and such.
And so either I precise the formulation of the barrier.
Change formulation a little bit. There are 3 specific cases, but that one is pretty much most problematic.
Okay. Or I merge 2, they are similar or whatever.
Yeah.
And once the barriers are crystal clear, pertinent, I feel they match, they are good. Normally, when I process, either they disappear, I don't feel any charge, I don't feel, okay, it doesn't have any meaning, or I can have an idea about a solution. Is that right?
Yes, like, or for example, let's close your eyes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes right now. Okay. So pay attention to that one. Like, is it possible to fail? How can you fail?
If I don't do any sport or.
Okay, cool. For example, like, okay, cool. Feel that it's possible to fail. That basically, probably you might not have your goal if you will behave like that in the future. Like if you don't change behavior.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay, so feel that it's possible to fail. That maybe you will fail if you don't do sport or diet or whatever was the point.
Okay.
Okay, so right hand. Notice that in the past you were lazy and you didn't exercise.
Okay.
Okay, does that fact influences if you want that goal or not? Do you still want your goal, although in the past you didn't exercise?
I think I want even more my goal.
You want it, yes. Okay, cool. Inhale, exhale. Second finger, left hand.
Yes.
I would like to have that result. I would like to have that health result, but maybe I cannot have it. Maybe I won't exercise.
Yes.
Inhale, exhale. Right
Yes.
hand, second finger. Notice that it is possible that you will not exercise. But does that possibility make you give up your goal? Or you want your goal?
Yes, I want my goal.
Inhale, exhale. Left hand again, third finger.
Second.
Third finger, left hand. It's possible to fail. Maybe I will not exercise. Inhale, exhale. Third finger, right hand. Notice it is really possible that you will not exercise. But do you still want your goal, although that possibility exists?
Yes.
Inhale, exhale.
Yes.
Fourth finger, left hand.
Yes.
It's possible to fail. Maybe I will not exercise. Inhale, exhale. Right hand. Although I feel that I might be lazy and I won't exercise, although you have that feeling, do you still want your goal?
Yes.
Inhale, exhale. One more time. Left hand. Yes. Maybe I cannot have my goal.
Mhm.
Maybe I will be lazy. Inhale, exhale.
Mhm.
Right hand. Last finger. Although you were like that in the past, notice that this is really truth. I was like that. I know that. This is fact. Does that make you give up your goal, or you still want your goal?
I still want my goal.
Great. Inhale, exhale.
I
Okay.
noticed a change when we reached the last finger on the left hand. It vanished.
Yeah, like, okay, this is like, if you pay attention, like, if you just look at essence of situation, it is, I will behave like this or I will behave like that. There is a past that I have, and I have specific experiences, and they might influence how I perceive myself. This is fact. But actually, this is about how you're going to behave in the past. And if you are aware that you want your goal, you will behave you will behave as you should. This is just freedom of choice or something like that.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the process you did?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I noticed that during her process, you used different phrases in different fingers. I thought it should be the same, but in this case, you use slight change the phrases.
Okay.
Why?
Have you noticed what was the change?
Well, yeah. By the end, it was a good one.
No. Changes in my formulation. Changes in my formulation were basically all three. I used all three changes for special case formulations. One is negative outcome that is possible. Second one is belief that you are treating as absolute truth. And the third one is personal characteristic. So basically, these are these special cases for that. But actually, you don't have to think too much about that. This is important just sometimes when formulation is such that it might be confusing. Like in that case, if I say, yes, I can fail because I'm lazy. Inhale, exhale. Actually, you are not lazy. You behave lazy in the past. On the right hand, although I am lazy, I still want my goal. It sounds to you like you're planning to continue to be lazy. And it is totally okay. But actually, it is not even truth. You are not lazy or not lazy. You are just you. And there is nothing there about that. Like you when you say I'm lazy, it really means I have past experiences in which I behaved like a lazy person or something like that. And so answer to your question is yes, different formulations that I used were connected to that to make it easier for Marianne to notice that she has freedom to how she will behave in the past, in the future, regardless of how she behaved in the past.
Okay, got it. So she mentioned that she wrote a list of the process. I'm doing the same. It's supposed that you should try the limitation, the barrier, right?
I didn't understand what you say.
I mean, okay. I mean, is it possible to fail? Oh yes. How? How is it possible? And then usually I write a reason. For example, the limit.
No. This is totally cool that you're writing. You should write. When you are processing on your own, I believe that you should always write or type or something like that. No, this is absolutely 100% okay. But I said, like, Marianne asked something like, okay, I have a new formulation. Should that substitute my old formulation in my list or something like that? List is really irrelevant. Like, you just need to look at barrier that is problem for you in this moment. What were previous processes that I did? If problems disappear, we don't really care. The fact that you are writing it, this is totally cool. This is perfect. I don't have any problem with that. This is totally cool.
Okay. That I told you this because I already reviewed them, and I notice that some of my previous beliefs are still there. But usually I take in consideration the new that emerges.
Yes,
But
but actually,
what
you should understand about 10 fingers process in regard to the goals is that your beliefs, this is not work with beliefs.
Oh, okay.
This is work with withdrawal from your goal because of the belief. Like if you pay attention, like your belief that you are lazy will not disappear. What disappear is your reaction to the goal in regard to that belief. So first you have, I cannot have my goal because I am lazy, or I was lazy in the past. I cannot have my goal. But now you said, okay, regardless of what happened in the past, I still want my goal. It doesn't do anything with laziness. It is just eliminating laziness as justification or excuse for giving up and nothing else.
Oh, yeah, got it. By the end, is the important part is it possible to fail? No. Even if you continue having the same beliefs.
Yes, and even if you are lazy in some different areas, it doesn't mean that you will behave like a lazy person in regard to that goal, and that you will not have your goal because of that.
Oh, thank you so much. Got it.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Cool. Okay, let's do a small change about, let me check what is happening with the chat. Okay. We have some questions. Okay. Okay, I pressed burnout as which traumatized me and left me in a situation of significant depth. Today I have genuine aversion. Amina says, can the 10 fingers method help to deactivate the effect of trauma? To be more specific, I experienced a professional burnout as an entrepreneur, which traumatized me and left me in a situation of significant debt. Today, I have genuine aversion and fear of returning to work, even as an employee. How can I specifically address this to overcome the effects of the trauma with the 10 fingers? With 10 fingers, I would say, look at that experience, find different aspects of that experience, for example, body sensations, emotions, beliefs, and then process them one by one by the 10 fingers process. And this should be completed. There are different things. If you are in an acute problem, you shouldn't work on a goal. You should first process it, use different techniques. It can be any technique that you are using. Use it first for elimination, or basically to resolve problem, and only then start working on a goal. There are methods for using 10-finger process to deal with trauma or chronic problem, but actually this is beyond the scope of this workshop. Here we are using 10 fingers just in regard to goal and to eliminate inner conflicts about it. It is just technically different when you want to work on the problem. Last thing from Mimina was, because after 3 sessions with 10 fingers, I feel even more blocked and feel that my goal is even more impossible. This is basically, I need to go. The last thing that I said is answer to that question. If you have problem, you shouldn't start working on a goal. If the goal is opposite to that problem, it will just re-stimulate your problem, and it will feel even worse than it was at the beginning. Yeah, like, okay, this is really so. I was having situations in which I had a client, and that person comes to session, and her plan before was to work on some goal. And we start working on the goal, and we have really muddy session of something like 40 minutes before you get to the point that when person says that she had some some problem in her reality in this moment, for example, some problem with her partner from last night, and because of that she's upset, and you really need to deal first with the problem. This is also true for Amina's case. When you have chronic problem activated, you shouldn't work on a goal that is part of that area, because it will just restimulate and activate the problem, and you will feel bad about it. You really need to work on something to deal with trauma first. Cool. Okay, this is it. Now let's do process that will be a little bit different. I hope that you have your tests from our first day. Let's take a look at these tests and check what are your ratings now. Let's redo the test. Make ratings, or basically rate situations for each of these affirmations once more, and see what are rating nouns and what were ratings in the beginning, like a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. Let's do that. Let's say 5 minutes. Find your tests, check affirmations. This is the first part of test, positive affirmations, and then check what are ratings for these affirmations right now. 5 minutes, let's do that. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to use that test for finding additional barriers. How we are going to do that? Basically, it is a really simple process. What you're going to do will be check all your ratings in affirmations. This is first. Find the lowest rating that you have. Then look at that affirmation and ask yourself, okay, for example, if this is, I am absolutely determined to achieve my goal before such and such date, then, and my rating is +6, and then ask yourself, okay, why isn't this 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever? And then your answer to that question will give you something to process. For example, I might say, okay, I'm not determined because there is so much work there. Okay, there is too much work for that. And then you do the normal 10 fingers process. On the left hand barrier that you have, it's possible to fail because there is too much work. Inhale, exhale. Right hand, although I feel that there is too much work, I still want my goal. Inhale, exhale. Second finger, left hand, it's possible to fail because there is too much work. Inhale, exhale. Right hand, although I feel that there is too much work, I still want my goal. Basically, you will do exactly the same process, just the questions that you will use, first and second questions, for finding conflict that you have about that are different. Okay. Do we have questions about that?
Yeah, Philip, I have a question.
Yeah.
For example, for number 6, I have the lowest scales. I promptly do whatever is necessary to achieve my goal. I feel in my body that I will not do whatever because whatever is in conflict with my beliefs, values, etc. So that's the new barrier that I should take in consideration and do the process again.
Tell me one more time specifically how, like I understood what is said, but this barrier, but tell me how it is connected. Like somehow I miss it, how it is connected with I will not do. I will not do it because this is conflict, specific thing that you want, that you're planning to do is not in accord with your values and things like that.
Yeah, for example, I will not go over some people even if there's an opportunity for me to gain something out of that. Or
okay. Yes. Yeah. Like, but actually, like, if you pay attention, there are two things there. First one is that, but second one is, why do you think that you will have to go over people? So basically, there is belief there that tells you that you will have to behave unethically or whatever in order to achieve your goal or something like that. or something that is contrary to your values or something like that. So basically, or not, I misunderstood something, huh? No?
No, you understood perfectly. But
Okay.
like I'm challenging myself, like why that whatever for me means really whatever, meaning that even
Okay,
good
like
and bad things.
yes. But okay, my this is problem with formulations which you are using when you're trying to cover really big areas of logical areas. What I meant with that affirmation was I'm promptly doing what I decided that is the right thing to do for me to achieve that goal. That is like I promptly doing things from my list of actions or from my plan or whatever. I'm not planning to ask you to rob banks or things like that, to do unethical things. Like this is like what is really characteristic is that when you are using these techniques, you really cannot force yourself to do to use technique to force yourself to do something that you don't want. So, for example, person cannot make herself disciplined if disciplined is not what she really wants in regard to goal or something like that. I cannot. If I'm in love with a girl, I cannot use process to make myself not in love with the girl. I like if I'm doing that, I probably have some conflict, and there should be some processing. But I will always processes will increase my harmony with myself. They will not decrease it. I cannot force myself to decrease my harmony with myself, and because of that, you really cannot. Like even if I try to make you do this process, you will not be successful with that. You will not be able to force yourself to do things that you don't want to do.
Okay, thank you. Clear.
Cool. Okay. Questions. Like I said, process that we are planning to do. Check affirmations. Find the one that has lowest rating. Check, for example, if it is 6, ask yourself why isn't it 7 or 8 or 10. Then answer to your question will give you conflict that you will be able to use with 10 fingers process. Conflict, when you find it, do exactly the same normal 10 fingers process with that. Like on the left hand, I cannot have my goal because whatever you find on the left hand or with the questions. And on the right hand, although barrier such and such exists, I still want my goal. Cool. Any questions about technical things, what we are planning to do? Cool. Let's try to do the process. Then we will discuss it and maybe find and discuss after the process. You will have maybe additional questions. Let's do that. 15 minutes. Okay. Anything to share? Any questions? Okay, Daniel.
Thank you. Okay. The first one is, for me, it's very easy to get new contents. They are arriving, and usually I feel lost in terms of in one finger I put something, and then go to the right, and then at the second one something new appear, and sometimes I just put it there, then I go to the next to the right side, and then in the third finger in the left something new appear, and I put it there. I'm moving too fast to different contents. Is it okay to do it like that, or
No.
not like that? I need to follow the system, right?
Yes, like write down, like you said, when you are practicing on your own, you should write down things that you are doing. Write down, and if you have that second one, write it down besides, but go back to the one that you started with and continue with that.
Okay, and I should, between them, I should do the question number 4 and the question number 5 too.
complete whole process for the first one. If you have ideas and notice maybe another conflict, write it down, leave it for later, but actually complete the process as it should be done, like it is written in the book.
Okay, got it. And the second question, for example, for my goal, I want to earn 1,500 per month, because that one indirectly pay all my debts. But right now, should it be best to have a first goal that it says I'm able to pay my debts and I have some money extra for me, instead of going to the goal of I want to make $1,500, because probably that one is too much. I mean,
Yes.
the first thing is to pay debts. That's my first worry that I have.
This is something that you notice nicely, and in a lot of situations, you might start with an idea. I want such and such goal, and this will resolve 5 of my other problems. But actually, you should probably focus yourself on the short term, the one that is most important for you. If I have situation with client and his goal is he has a situation that he will not be able to pay rent next week or next month, he should probably focus on that. Maybe you can define long-term goal and say, okay, I want such and such reality in 6 months, maybe in a year or something like that. But actually, it is a really good idea to focus on what is really important for you in this current moment. So it is quite possible. I don't know, I haven't gone deeply into what you're saying, but it is quite possible that you should change that goal to make it the one that is more important for you in that moment. This is the same thing that I said to Amina. If she is having a present problem, conflict that is active in this moment, she cannot work on goal. So you can say, okay, I would have great reality with 1,500, everything will be resolved. Yes, great. But actually, you cannot focus on that one when you have your debt coming in 2 weeks or something like that. This is why you should pay attention to, you will maybe really good criteria for checking, for starting with the goal is that it is really, really, really important for you in this moment. So it is quite possible that you should change your goal.
Okay. Final question. Thank you so much. Is it possible during the process to have like a catharsis, emotional explosion, or just intense emotions and want to do?
It is possible, but I haven't seen it. It is possible, but actually the process is, if you pay attention, the process is focused on relatively on things that are not so charged. Usually it is goal that you're working on. It could have some problems behind things like that, and it could activate like some problem, like it was in Amina's case. If you pay attention, like if you have seen in chat, Amina said something like, I feel worse about my goal than I was at the beginning. This is because there is a problem, and once we started to dig around it, then problem is activated, and you will feel probably worse about goal. So, but I haven't had a case when emotions were so. Maybe I did, but actually it is not very, very often.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cool. Something about our last process. This is like, what is happening with your affirmations? Are they getting better and better? What is rating for them? What was the process like that you were doing?
For me?
No, not for you. Like,
okay, okay, I got it.
Allow somebody else to talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. But your questions were really useful, all of them. Like they were not stupid questions; they were really good questions.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay, Yelena, anything to share?
Well, the thing that was strange for me is that my probability actually was lower this time than the first time, from 60% to 50%. And I worked in both areas, in the positive affirmation, but also in the negative traits.
Okay.
I took one of the negative traits that had a lowest rating, lowest rating, and went through it. And I don't feel a charge anymore, but it actually provokes some other questions that I'll take in consideration when I do the next barrier, for example. One of my barriers was like almost like a negative trait, is that I'm losing interest into my goal because I have so many ideas and I'm not ever sure like which one to pursue, and like I move 3 steps in this direction, then change my mind. So that's something that I ask myself. So if this is -8, why it isn't -2 or -1? And it came to my mind like because I changed my mind so often.
Okay, so but actually, if you pay attention, you haven't done the right process here. Like if you pay attention to one of the things that I said to Daniel, maybe two discussions before, and that is about characteristics, personal characteristics. When you're thinking about personal characteristics, you will not have basically reduction of the negative characteristics when you were working here. We are just working like what you will have as a result is just freedom from being influenced by that negative characteristic in regard to my goal. So if you pay attention, this process wouldn't be why, like, I am lazy. Maybe I'm lazy. Okay. If I'm lazy and I'm still lazy, or I would be really close to the same lazy when we started to work. Because we are not working on lazy at all. We are just working on basically giving up or quitting decision because of the lazy. So before it was, I cannot have my goal because I'm lazy. After that, after process, you know that you can have your goal regardless of the fact that you were lazy in the past. But actually, like this process will work nicely with affirmations, not so nicely with characteristics. Because characteristics are not changing. The change that you can expect in regard to characteristics or traits or negative characteristics is I don't really care about that. This is not relevant in regard to my goal and nothing else. So usually nothing will happen with traits. Sometimes you will have cognitions that will change some of these things a little bit, but actually this is really the different story. This is not connected with what we are doing. We are here. If you pay attention, process is I cannot have my goal because I'm lazy, and second, I still want my goal, although I was lazy in the past. Actually, nothing happened with laziness. How much lazy I am or how much I perceive myself as lazy or not. You will have some kind of conclusion or realization or cognition that I'm not really lazy, that I can choose if I will be lazy or not. But actually, this could be easily neglected in the process because this is not main point.
Okay, I got it. I misunderstood that we should do
this is not,
and okay. But like the affirmation was also kind of in that going in that direction, like because I have too many ideas and I like I had the lowest rating on the fifth point. I know exactly what I must do in the following months to attain my goal. I don't have bare idea what should I do.
Yes, and that is
and I don't want to know, like I want to feel it and to be guided.
And that is, if you pay attention, this is something that I would address before we finish. But actually, this is the things that we have done up to this point are absolutely lacking in the area of how I'm going to achieve your goal, because we haven't got there at all. Like some of you who practiced a little bit or read a book or something like that, you know that next step is okay, thinking about how I'm going to achieve my goal in the future. But actually, it would be sometimes you will have some cognition that may improve rating even there, because that is what naturally happens, because your mental image of goal achieved is different usually after processing than it was at the beginning. And because of that, even if you are not really thinking about it, basically your idea about how I'm going to achieve my goal crystallizes even if you are not trying to do that. It is becoming clearer and clearer, even if you are not really thinking about it. Even if you try not to think about it, it will. Because in a moment when you ask yourself, okay, is it possible to, think about your goal, is it possible to fail? You have mental image of something in there. And it is foggy at the beginning and less foggy when you are processing yourself. And because of that, it is like a real, in most cases, when we got to the place when you say to yourself, it's not possible to fail, usually you have pretty clear idea what will be things that I'm going to achieve it and how I'm going to achieve it. Maybe you don't know it step by step, but actually your mental image of what is my goal is different than it was 4 days before, 4 days ago.
Okay, got it. And I think I'm aligned with that. Thanks.
Oh, great. Okay. If we don't have anybody who would like to say something or share something, let's do 10 more minutes of the same thing. Marianne raised his hand. Thank you, Marianne. Tell me something.
Yes. About the thick salary, it's my lowest score. Do you hear me? Hello?
So
you hear me? Yeah, it's bad. Connection is bad.
Yeah.
Do you understand if I am speaking now?
Right now, yes.
Yes. Okay. The sixth affirmation was I do what's necessary. It's my lowest score. And so I just have to say, as a barrier, I might fail because I don't do what's necessary.
Yes, but again, this is there are few things about that affirmation. First, your I'm not doing what is necessary is not specific enough. You can do it more specific, like what specifically you are not doing that needs to be done. Like usually your barrier will be something like, I will probably not be able to do this or that, or I will not be disciplined in this or that, things like that. This is first. Second one is when you are thinking about that affirmation, I am promptly doing what needs to be done. That is a meaning of that is not like in a lot of situations people will think about their personal characteristic. And we are not here thinking about personal characteristic. We are here talking about your current state. When you think about things that you need to do, are you a person who in this moment, or how much you are a person in this moment, in the way how you feel right now, that promptly do whatever is necessary. So it is really easy to confuse your, again, belief about yourself in the past with your current state. Right here, we are interested just in your current state. When you think about yourself right now, in this moment, how much you are a person who is ready to promptly do things that are necessary for achievement of your goal. This is a question. And then if, like, sometimes people say, okay, my rating is not increased, but usually their problem is that they are thinking about themselves generally in life, or how I was in the past and things like that. So meaning of this affirmation is, when you think about your goal now, right now, how much you in this moment are a person for whom it is truth that you're taking actions promptly for achievement of your goal. That this is more about what is my current state than how I am usually in my life. This is difference. Maybe this was not your question at all, but it is important for understanding of this affirmation.
I have an example, maybe
Yeah.
a new formula of from the affirmation transforming in a new barrier. So, for example, I do what's necessary could become I might fail because I did not do what was necessary until then.
No,
correct?
my main comment on that one would be mostly like about vagueness of I'm not doing what's necessary. You will have much better process if you specify exactly what you might not do.
Okay.
Like,
so
I would say, I will not be disciplined in my diet, or I will not exercise, or whatever it is. That because process will be really vague and not functional if you leave it like that, general.
So it's finally the same barrier that I had already.
Yes.
So
I
do
would
not
say
take
yes.
time and discipline for sport or whatever.
Yeah, but actually, I would expect that your feeling about that is that rating in that area will change.
What do you mean?
Like I wouldn't expect that your rating is the same as it was at the beginning.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
First before the thinking how to work the barrier, yes, the rate was better. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, but actually, if you pay attention, like these barriers that we're talking that we already worked on, they are in some way already resolved on some level. But actually, if you are still feeling some part of that as problematic, then you should notice specifically what is still left and then process it.
Yes, because it was from -10 to 0.
Okay, cool. Okay, like this is nice.
Okay, so there is no need for me to process again for on the barrier. I do not take time and disciplines for sport. It won't improve anymore. I must specify more the problem or find something else. Or
yes, I would expect that you might get yourself in good state about that. Then you will start your project and you will try to do different things, and maybe in some moment you will not do what you expected yourself to do again, and that will again lower your affirmation about that, and then you will do another process on that, but actually it will be different than it was at the beginning, because you will have new information because of the interaction with material world, or basically with your attempt to achieve your goal. like some of these will fall again when different things happen in material world. But this is okay, and this should be like that, because this is, like we said, this is alarm system that asks us to pay attention to some elements of reality and to improve our behavior in these areas. Cool. Okay. Okay. This is all I have for you about that. Like I said to Jelena a few moments ago, this is like, if you pay attention, what we're doing here was mainly dealing with our mental and emotional state in regard to our goals. And you need to do that in order to start taking actions in material world. So basically, in a way, you need to unstuck yourself from an optimal state that you were in before you started to work. And then the next step will be to think about actions that you need to take in material world in order to achieve your goal. I will send you different materials, and one of these materials, like I will make a web page on which we will have all recordings, and we will have all materials that we are used in this course. And I will give you some kind of instructions about how to practice, or how to again practice, or things like that. And one of the materials that I will include will be that 6 steps how to achieve goals, something like that I have on my website. But one of the things that are there are some of the things are setting, transforming your goal into goal-oriented experience, and thinking always about your goal achievement experience with its past. Meaning that once you add that past to your goal, that naturally stimulates you, or basically initiates, or basically force you to start taking actions. Like if you are thinking about your goal with, or your goal-oriented experience with the past, so it means what are all the things that needs to happen from this point to achievement of my goal, that will naturally basically motivate you to start taking actions in order to make that whole sequence of events true. Jelena, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just a clarification question. When you said add the past to your goal, do you actually mean that maybe we could project ourselves in the future state in which we already attained that goal?
Yes.
Because
this is what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Like if you pay attention, basically you cannot imagine experience without past. Like every experience is result of the set of experiences.
This is so strange moment for me, because I was listening exactly what you're speaking right now 2 days ago on the alignment and the shift in reality when you actually have that experience like it's already happened in your past. So
yes. Yes. But like there are nuisances there about that. Like if you pay attention, there is, in 1999 there was study in University of California. They were working with their students, and they separated them in 2 groups. One of them were visualizing themselves achieving their goals or passing exam, and second one wasn't doing nothing. Their test, like basically control group. Results that they had are amazing, or basically it could be amazing if you spent your life thinking about visualization and things like that, because results were worse in a group that was visualizing achievement of their goals. They felt better about their goal, but their results were worse. This is because in a way you can say, okay, this is more fantasizing than visualizing or something like that. If you are just visualizing your goal, but I really believe that it would be quite different if they got instruction to visualize their goal, but be aware of what happened in the past of their goal. So basically, if you are visualizing yourself knowing everything on that exam, and you ask yourself, okay, what is the past of that? You will have some moment when you learn this, and when you learn that, and you master. And once you are aware of that, you cannot visualize, that person cannot visualize for 15 minutes, 3 days in a row and not starting to study. That will really irritate, that will make you feel bad about your goal. But if you are just thinking about how beautiful it will be when I pass that exam, then you can stay in that state. This is basically that one of these steps is like, whenever you are thinking about your goal, add past to that goal, or be aware of the past that you have to have in order to get yourself there, or something like that. So, like, you can say in a way this is incomplete course, but actually I really believe that if you would insist on getting yourself really in a state in which you know that it's not possible, so basically continue, it's not possible to fail that process, that will improve your emotional state, but actually it will force you to start taking actions in material world. Once you are in a really good shape, you will naturally start taking actions. This is a natural thing to do. You will want to take actions. You will not need motivation techniques or something like that. Once when you're really in good shape, you will want to take these actions. And if you pay attention, like this story about manifestation, people say, okay, if you really create reality in yourself, then it will manifest in material world. Yes, I can say yes, but actually almost anybody who is working with manifestation techniques, nobody really gets himself in or herself in a really state in which you are in which your reality is that you have this. This is totally, most people are just using that to fantasize or to feel a little bit better about what they want to achieve in their lives. So, okay, this is everything that I had. So, conclusion for this last part is, it is in a way incomplete, and most of you has some of my materials, so you know that this is not everything. But even if you would just stick to that, keep yourself in really good shape, process yourself, I don't know, one set of 15 minutes a day, or maybe 2 sets, I believe that pretty quickly you will start taking actions, even if you didn't plan to do that, and you will get closer and closer to that goal. This is all I have for you for tonight. If you have any more questions or anything to share or whatever, I would really like to hear it.
I just want to say thank you so much for this amazing course. It was very useful, and I feel privileged to be here. Thank you for answering me all the questions. And this is an amazing course. I really say it with all my heart. Thank
okay,
you so
I enjoyed working with you, Daniel. It was nice to have somebody in that way. I always have somebody to ask questions that I will answer, and these are good questions. These are not really cool. Okay, so if there isn't anything that anybody would like, Dragana raised his hand. Dragana, please.
Yes, thank you. I also want to thank you very much, and really appreciate what you're sharing your knowledge with us. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, it was pleasure, really, to me. I'm not saying that just because it is something that should be said or something like that. Marianne, you wanted to say?
Yes, I wanted to react and go in your way as you said something. I was dealing around a problem and I tried some things to resolve it, and it didn't work, and I let it just beside. And now I'm really grateful because the fact that we worked on this, on a goal. Okay, I said I'm going in it once more, and what I want to share, it's the same maybe with Amina and what you said before, that it helps even if you don't go toward your goal, if you don't obtain your goal, it helps you to separate what's really the easy path to the goal, and if you have a big issue on it, it helps to put the light on trauma or really blocking things that you have to work in another way. So it be resolved, and then you can go on the path because it's lighter. So it really helped me on that, and I thank you very much for that. Voila.
Okay. You're welcome. Like, I'm really glad that you were here too. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is it for us for tonight. I'm going to create that support page with all materials and things like that, and I will send you links to that. I will send you links to this recording if you want to re-watch it again or something like that. So this is it from me for you tonight. Okay.
Thank you so much, Philip. It was a great session.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Philip.
Bye-bye.